Hi guys, this is the EdExcel GCSE 91 Maths Paper 3 from the Foundation tier, and it's from the June 2019 series. Question 1, we have to write 478 to the nearest 100. Well, if we take out the 100ths column, the digit after, which is a 7, is 5 or greater, so we round this 4 up to the next digit, so we have 5, and therefore to the nearest 100, 478 is rounded up to 500. For question 2, we have to write down a multiple of 8 that is in between 41 and 60. Well, we couldn't choose 48 because 48 divided by 8 is 6. Question number 3, we have to change 1.5 kilometers to meters. So to go from kilometers to meters, we would have to multiply by 1000, and to go from meters to kilometers, we would have to divide by 1000. So we have 1.5 multiplied by 1000, it turns out we get 1500 meters. Question number 4. Here is a list of numbers, and from the list we have to write down all the numbers that are powers of 3. Well, you'll notice over here 3 squared is equal to 9. So therefore 9 is a power of 3. You'd also notice 3 cubed is equal to 27. So therefore 27 is also a power of 3. So we have 9 and 27. Question number 5. We have to write 19% as a fraction. Well, if we were to convert from a percentage to a fraction, remember percentage just means out of 100, so 19% means 19 out of 100. Question number 6, we have to work out 20% of 80. Well, 20% as a fraction, that's 20 over 100, so we have 20 over 100 of 80. So we have 20 over 100 multiplied by 80, it turns out we get 16. Question number 7. There are 4 types of counter in a bag. The table shows the number of each type of counter in the bag, and we have to find out how many more green counters there are than red counters. So to do this, we can find out the total number of red counters. So the total number of red counters, we have 16 circles plus 11 squares. Turns out here we get 27. And in terms of the number of green counters, turns out we get 26 plus 7. And if we add these together, we get 33. So therefore the difference will tell us how many more green counters there are than red. So 33 take away 27, you'd find this to be 6. So there are 6 more green counters than red counters. Question number 8. Here is the gauge for the fuel tank in a car. A quarter of the tank is full, and the fuel tank holds 52 litres of fuel when the tank is full. The tank is 1/4 full of fuel. We have to work out how many more litres of fuel are needed to fill the tank. Well, if we know already that the fuel tank holds 52 litres of fuel, we can find out how many litres of fuel we have already in the car. And to do this, we have to work out 1/4 of 52. So 1/4 of 52, 52 divided by 4, that's 13. So therefore we have 13 litres of fuel already. And therefore, to find out how many more litres of fuel we need, the tank holds 52 litres, and therefore 52 take away 13, this is 39. So 39 litres of fuel is needed. Question number 9. We have to simplify 4e plus 6f plus 7e minus f. Well, 4e plus 7e, if we collect like terms, that will be 11e. 6f minus 1f, that will be 5f. So we have 11e plus 5f. Question number 10. Bill has 400 counters in a bag. He gives 35 of the counters to Samina, 50 of the counters to Henry, 75 of the counters to Lucas. What fraction of the 400 counters is left in Bill's bag? Give your fraction in its simplest form. Well, let's see how many counters Bill has left. If he has 400 to begin with, he gave 35 to Samina, he gave 50 to Henry, he gave 75 to Lucas, therefore he has 240 counters left in the bag. And we wish to express this 240 as a fraction of the original amount. So we have 240 divided by 400, which, if we simplify this, it turns out we get 3/5. Question number 11. The table shows the cost of sending a parcel by the express service and by the rapid service. So with the express service, the cost is £15.25. For the rapid service, the cost is £35.38. Brendan has to send 12 parcels. It will be cheaper to send the parcels by the express service than by the rapid service. How much cheaper? Well, if he sends 12 parcels using the express service, and if he sends 12 parcels by the rapid service, the difference between those will tell us how cheap it is to express parcels by express rather than rapid. So, to do this, we have 12 times by £35.38 minus 12 times by £15.25, and we can of course use our calculator to do this. 12 times by £35.38 minus 12 times by £15.25, it turns out we get £241.56. For part B of the question, Luke wants to send 21 parcels by the express service. He does the calculation 20 times by 15, which is 300, to estimate the cost. We have to explain why Luke's calculation shows the actual cost will be more than 300. Well, he's rounded this 21 down to 20, and he's also rounded the original £15.25 down to £15. So essentially what he's done is underestimated the value. So if we write that down in some sort of words, The 20 is less than the 21, 15 is less than 1525, and therefore he has an underestimate. Okay, so now for the next question. Ali, Ben and Kathy share an amount of money in the ratio 6 to 9 to 10. What fraction of the money does Ben get? Well, in total, we see over here that there are 6 plus 9 plus 10 parts in total. Okay? And of this, we see that Ben gets 9 of those. And therefore, if we simplify all this, it turns out we get 9 over 25. So Ben gets 9/25 of the money. Question number 13. The first term of a sequence of a number is 24. The term-to-term rule of the sequence is to add 8. Josie says no number in this sequence is in the 5 times table. We have to give an example to show that Josie is wrong. Well, if I begin with the 24, I can then add on 8 to give me 32, and if I add on another 8, I get 40. And you'll notice over here, 40 is in the 5 times table, so an example would be the number 40. And for part B, is 85 a number in the sequence? Well, we can continue this sequence, and because 40 is in this sequence, 80 will also be in this sequence. Essentially, we're repeating again. So, if 85 is in the sequence, the next term will be 85. But if I add on 8 to this term, the term after will be 88. So therefore, 85 is not in this sequence. So let's put this down into words. So 80 is in the sequence, and therefore 85 is not in the sequence. For question number 14, we have to find the value of 5.27 plus 3.5 divided by 7.9 minus 4.36. We have to give our answer as a decimal. So if we work this out, press the fraction button, we have 5.27 plus 3.5 divided by 7.9 minus 4.36. And if we type all this in, it turns out as a decimal, we get this value over here of 2.47740113. For question number 15, you can use this rule to work out the total hire charge in pounds for hiring a 3D printer for a number of weeks. So the total hire charge in pounds is equal to the number of weeks times 70 plus 50. Maya wants to hire a 3D printer for 4 weeks. We have to work out her total charge. Well, her total charge, T, that's equal to the number of weeks, 4, multiplied by 70 plus 50. And if we work this out, we get 330. So the total charge is £330. And now for the next part of the question. Zahir hires a 3D printer. The total hire charge is £680. For how many weeks does Zahir hire the 3D printer? So for this question, total hire, that's equal to 680. And then this is equal to the number of weeks, we'll call this W. And we multiply that by 70, so we have 70W plus 50. And we want to find out the number of weeks, so we have to rearrange over here for W. So if I subtract 50 from both sides, then we have on the left hand side 630, and this is equal to 70W. And then if I divide both sides by 70, so dividing both the left hand side and the right hand side by 70, we see that W is equal to 90. So we have W which is equal to 9. So we have 9 weeks. Okay. Now for the next question, here is a rectangle. We have dimensions 4 centimeters and 6 centimeters. and the six-sided shape below is made from these two rectangles, and we have to work out the perimeter of this six-sided shape. Well, the smaller edge, that's 4 centimeters. Let's just add this on. We have 4 centimeters here, and the longer edge, that's 6 centimeters. So here we have 6, here we have 4, here we have 4, here we have 6, and this missing length, that's going to equal 6 take away 4, which is 2. So we have 2 centimeters here. So therefore the perimeter, P, that's equal to 6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 6 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4, and adding all this together, it turns out we get 32. So therefore we have 32 centimeters. Question number 17. The accurate scale diagram shows a telephone mast and a box, as we see here. The box has a real width of 1.5 meters. We have to find an estimate for the real height in meters of the telephone mast. So to do this question, if we measure this length here of the box using our ruler, we see that we have over here 1.8 centimeters. So the 1.5 meters would represent the 1.8 centimeters, and if we use our ruler to find the height of the telephone mast, so with our ruler, if we measure this over here, we see here we have 10.6 centimeters. So we wish to find out what 10.6 centimeters would represent, and the first thing we can do, if we move this to the center, we can find out what 1 centimeter is, and we can do that by dividing both sides by 1.8. So 1.5 divided by 1.8, you'd find that to be 5/6. So 1 centimeter would represent 5/6 meters, and then to go from the 1 centimeter to the 10.6, we would have to multiply by 10.6. So 5/6 multiplied by 10.6, if we work this out, so times this by 10.6, it turns out we get 8.33, etc. So here we have 8.3 meters. Okay, so we have 8.3 meters to 1 decimal place. Okay, now for question number 18, the table shows information about the number of points scored by 30 students in a quiz. We have to find the modal number of points. Well, the mode, that represents the most common. So mode means most common. And we can find out what the most common is. That will be the one with the highest frequency, which corresponds to 2 points. So we have 2 points. And now for part B, we have to work out the total number of points scored. Well, over here we have 4 who scored 0. We have 3 who scored 1. 7. Let's think of it. Let me rewrite this. We have 4 who scored 0. 3 who scored 1. 7 who scored 2. 5 who scored a 3. 6 who scored a 4. And 5 who scored a 5. And if we work all of this out, it turns out we get 81. So therefore, we have 81 points in total. Okay. Question number 19, we have to make x the subject of the formula y equals 2x plus 4. Well, we want x by itself. So the first thing I can do, I can subtract 4 from both sides. And if I do that, we've got y minus 4 equals 2x, and to get x by itself, we now have to divide both sides by 2. And if I do that, we have y minus 4 divided by 2, which is equal to x. So therefore x is equal to y minus 4 over 2. Question number 20. The diagram shows a square ABCD and an equilateral triangle BCD. We have to work out the size of angle EBC. So EBC. Well, this angle over here is equal to 45 degrees. We've cut the square in half. This angle over here, because we have an equilateral triangle, this angle is equal to 60. So therefore this angle over here is equal to 45 plus 60, which is 105. So therefore we have 105 degrees. Question number 21. Liz goes on holiday to South Africa. Liz wants to change £850 into South African rand. She wants to get as many 200 rand notes as possible. The exchange rate is £1 equals 18.53 rand. We have to work out the greatest number of 200 rand notes that Liz can get for £850. So far we begin with this £1 equals 18.53 rand. And we wish to convert first of all 850 pounds into rand, and if we do that we can multiply 18.53 by 850. It turns out we get 15,750.5 rand, and we wish to find out how many notes, how many 200 rand notes we can get. So we've got 15,750.5 divided by 200. So if I divide this by 200, it turns out we get 78.7, etc. So the number of 200 rand notes we can get is therefore 78. Question number 22. In October, Sally drove 560 miles in her car. The car travelled 34.5 miles for each gallon of petrol used. Petrol costs £1 8 per litre, and 1 gallon is equal to 4.55 litres. We have to work out the cost of the petrol the car used in October. So first of all, we can find out the gallons used. We know that 1 gallon is equal to 4.55 litres, and we wish to find out how many gallons well, first of all, using this information here, we have 34.5 miles for each gallon of petrol used. So with this we can find out the amount of gallons used. So the gallon used, let's just rub all this out for now. The gallon used, that's equal to 560 over 34.5. So if we work this out, 560 divided by 34.5, it turns out we get 16.23, etc. gallons. Now we know that already 1 gallon is equal to 4.55 litres. We wish to find out what 16.23 gallons is equal to. So multiplying this by 4.55, it turns out we get 73.85 etc. litres. So that's the amount of litres used, and therefore we know that petrol cost £1 8 per litre. So £1 is equal to £1 8 is equal to 1 litre. So therefore, for 73.85 etc. litres, we multiply this amount by 1.08. So it turns out we get 79.76. So we have £79.76. So let's just write that down. We have £79.76. Question 23. Costcorp sells packets of mints to shop owners. On Monday, 3 shop owners buy mints from Costcorp. Each shop owner buys small packets, medium packets, and large packets of mints. Alan buys 400 packets of mints. 32% are small packets, 40% are large packets. Beryl buys 500 packets of mints. 3/10 are small packets, 1/10 are large packets. Charlie buys 150 small packets of mints, so that the number of small packets to the number of medium packets is in the ratio 3:4. We have to work out the total number of medium packets of mints the shop owners buy. You must show all your working. So we see over here, if 32% are small, 40% are large, 100 take away 32 take away 40, that's equal to 28. So we see over here that 28% are large, 28% are medium packets. Okay. And if we consider Beryl, if 3/10 are small, 1/10 is large, we can say from here that 1 take away 1/10 take away 3/10 are going to be medium, so 3/5 are medium. Okay, so 3/5 are medium packets. And if we consider what we have over here, we know that small to medium, he has 150 small, so therefore the number of medium, well, to go from 3 to 50, we multiply by 50, so 4 times by 50, that's 200. So therefore, he has 200 medium. So therefore, the total number, well, if we consider Alan, the number of medium Alan has is 28% of the 400. So 28% of 400, so if we work this out, 28 divided by 100 multiplied by 400, turns out we get 112. So Alan has 112 medium. Beryl has 3/5 of 500. So 3/5 of 500, 3 divided by 5 multiplied by 500, turns out we get 300. So therefore we have 300 medium, and we can also see that for Charlie we have 200 which are medium, and therefore the total amount of medium is equal to 112 plus 300 plus 200. It turns out we get 612. So therefore we have 612 medium. Question 24. We have a set of numbers 1 to 9. A has numbers 1, 5, 6, 8, 9. B has numbers 2, 6, 9. We have to complete the Venn diagram to show this information. Well, what we see over here, the 9 is common to both, and a 6 is also common to both. So what goes over here is the 6 and the 9. So what's left in A? We have the 1, the 5, and the 8. What's left in B? That's just 2. And the numbers that are left over, that's 3, 4, and 7. And now, a number is chosen at random from the universal set. We have to find the probability that the number is in the set A and B. So A and B, that's these two numbers. So we have 2 numbers out of a total 9. So we have 2 9ths. Question 25. Katie invests £200,000 in a savings account for 4 years. The account pays compound interest at a rate of 1.5% per annum. We have to calculate the total amount of interest Katie will get at the end of the 4 years. So for the total amount, we have the following formula. The total amount is equal to the original multiplied by 1 plus the percentage over 100 to the power of t. So the original amount, that's 200,000. And then the multiplier, that's 1 plus 1.5% per annum, so we have 1.5 over 100 to the power of t, so he's investing for 4 years. And if we work this out, 200,000 multiplied by 1 plus 1.5 over 100 to the power of 4, which is 212272.71. And therefore the amount of interest that she'll get at the end of the 4 years, that's equal to this 212272.71 minus 200,000. So we subtract off 200,000 from this. So it turns out we get 12272.71. So this is our final amount. Okay. So here we have 12272.71. Question 26. The table shows information about the heights of 80 plants, and we have to find the class interval that contains the median. Well, first of all, we have to find the cumulative frequency. We can find the position of the median. So to find the position of the median, we have 80 divided by 2, which is 40. So we want the 40th value. So where does the 40th value lie? So we begin with the 7. 7 plus 3, that's 20. 20 plus 14, that's 34. Plus the 12, that will be 46. Plus the 16, that's equal to 62. Plus the 18, that takes us up to 80. So the 40th value, that's going to be in between the 34 and the 46, which is the higher one. So here, the median lies in the interval 40, which is less than h, which is less than or equal to 50. Now for part B, we have to draw a frequency polygon for this information. Before we do that, we need to find the midpoints of these intervals. Midpoint here is 25, midpoint here is 35, midpoint here is, midpoint here is rather 15. Here is 25, here is 35, here is 45, here is 55, and here is 65. So we plot the midpoints against the frequencies. And if we do that, we have something which looks like this. Okay, so now for the next question. Sean has drawn a time series graph to show the numbers in thousands of visitors to a fun park, and we have the number of visitors here and the year. We have to write down two things that are wrong or could be misleading with the graph. So the vertical axis does not start at 0, that's one problem, and the next problem, the numbers on the horizontal axis are repeated. Question 28. The diagram shows a hexagon. The hexagon has one line of symmetry, and FA is equal to BC, EF is equal to CD, and the angle ABC is equal to 117. We have to, well, we're also given that the angle BCD, that's this angle here, that's twice the angle CDE, that's this angle here. We have to work out the size of the angle AFE, that's this angle here. You must show all your working. Well, if we have a line of symmetry, we have a line of symmetry over here. That's the only place we have a line of symmetry. Now we're also told that the angle BCD is equal to twice the angle CDE. So if this angle over here is x, then this angle over here is equal to 2x. And through symmetry, this angle is going to equal x, and this angle is going to also equal x. So, also, this angle is going to equal 117. Now, with this, we can find out the sum of all the angles in this shape. So, the sum of the interior angles that's going to equal 6 minus 2 multiplied by 180. And if we work this out, we get 720 degrees. So the sum of all those interior angles must equal 720. So we have 117 plus another 117 plus 2x plus another 2x plus another x plus another x. That's equal to 720. And we can simplify this to 234 plus 6x, which is equal to 720. And we wish to find out what x is, because if we do that, we can find out what 2x is, which is the angle AFE. So the first thing I can do, I can subtract off 234 from both sides. So if I do that, we end up with 6x equals 468. And now to get x by itself, we can divide both sides by 6. And if we do that, we find x is equal to 81. Now the angle AFE, that's equal to 2x. So we have 2 times by 81, which is 162. So we have 162. Question 29. Jeremy has to cover 3 tanks completely with paint. The tank is in the shape of a cylinder with a top and a bottom. The tank has a diameter of 16 meters and a height of 1.8 meters. Jeremy has 7 tins of paint. Each tin of paint covers 5 meters squared. Has Jeremy got enough paint to cover completely the 3 tanks? Well, what we see over here is that let's see what area these 7 tins of paint will cover. So 7 tins of paint, this will cover 7 times by 5, which is 35 meters squared. Now, if over here the surface area of 3 tanks is greater than 35 meters squared, we can conclude he doesn't have enough paint. Now let's find out the surface area of 1 tank. If we do that, we have the curved bit that has a surface area of pi times by 1.6 times by 1.8. And then we have the circle at the top and the circle at the bottom. So we've got 2 times by the area of a circle. So we've got 2 times by pi times by the radius squared. Now if the diameter is 1.6, half of 1.6 is 0.8. So we have this for our surface area. So we have over here pi times by 1.6 times by 1.8 plus 2 times by pi times by 0.8 squared. It turns out here we get 13.06 etc. meters squared, and therefore the surface area of 3 tanks, that's going to equal this multiplied by 3, so it turns out we get 39.20. So we get 13.06 etc. multiplied by 3, which is, if we work this out, 39.2 etc. meters squared. And therefore, because this is greater than the 35 meters squared, we can conclude that he does not have enough paint. Okay. Question 30, we have to solve the simultaneous equations 3x minus 4y equals 11 with 9x plus 2y equals 5. So to do this question, if we get the number in front of the y the same, we can then add the equations together. So if I multiply this equation by 2, we end up with 18x plus 4y equals 10. And now if I call this equation 1 and this equation 2, we can add these equations together, which will eliminate the y. So if I add these equations together, 3x plus 18x, that's 21x, minus 4y plus 4y, that's 0y, 11 plus 10, that's 21. 21x is equal to 21, and dividing through by 21 on both sides. So divide both sides by 21, x is equal to 1. Now when x is equal to 1, we can use this information to find out what y is. So when x is equal to 1, we have 3 lots of 1 if I substitute back into the first equation, minus 4y, this is equal to 11. So we have 3 minus 4y equals 11. If we rearrange, we can, for example, add 4y to both sides. So we have 3 equals 4y plus 11, and if I subtract 11 from both sides, we see that we have minus 8, which is equal to 4y, and now if I divide both sides by 4, we see that y is equal to minus 2. So we have minus 2, which is equal to y. So y is equal to minus 2, x is equal to 1. So that's the end of the paper. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. If there are any questions, please feel free to comment in the comment section below, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video.